What's up, fellow dropshippers? Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A. I'm going to be answering all your questions from this past week, as well as any other questions that you guys have. You can drop them into the chat, and I'll answer them for you. I think there's something wrong with the video. Let me just fix that up. All right, I was trying to use a new video camera. It's not really working, so I'm going to go back to using my built-in webcam. Not as much lag. Okay. All right, so we're just going to wait for some more people to get in here. Hey, Al, welcome. Hey, Ty, thanks for coming in. They're here on Facebook. I have both Facebook going on my phone, and I'm here on YouTube on my computer, so we can get everyone watching. Thanks, Steven, for the heads up. I was trying something new, using my DSLR as a webcam, but I guess the cable is not good. Yeah, Gary, yesterday I accidentally started live streaming. I meant to be recording. I was recording a video and accidentally hit the stream button instead. So I was streaming instead of recording. I apologize. I think I might have cursed in there. So I'm sorry about that. Not that anyone probably cares, but. Ben, that's a great question. I'm going to answer it in just a couple minutes. I'm going to wait for a few more people to get in here. Welcome, Ruben. This is a live Q&A about eBay dropshipping. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments and I'll try to answer them for you. Not here, not that it's really relevant, but yes, I am married to my husband, Chad. All right, it's gonna give it like one more minute before we start. Somebody had recommended that I use this cam link. I forget who recommended it. It like worked a couple times and now I can't get it to work again. So I'll have to troubleshoot that before the next Q&A. Did I get the Elgato DSLR adapter? No, I don't know what that is. Is that like a cable? I got just some cable off of, I got the cam link and I have a cable that goes from my computer to that adapter. Okay, let's get started. Barry has some great questions in here. Mile Marker is asking if I plan on having multiple eBay accounts. Yeah, I do have multiple eBay accounts. One's my main account. One is an account that I've just been trying experimenting some new things with. And the third account is something I'm experimenting with as well. So the second account, I'm trying to do sniping on there. Something we haven't done before, but we're trying it out. I'm gonna be doing an update video on that in just like a couple of days. The third account, we're trying to do bulk listing on that, something we've never done either. That's brand new. We've only had like a couple sales, so I can't really speak too much about it yet. But I'll be doing some videos about all of them because, the way we do it, title optimization is not the only way to dropship. I want to make sure that I try every single way and let you guys know about my experience with all of them. So that's why I set up the other two accounts. Vanessa Iverson said you had a huge issue with Home Depot, had 5 orders of the same item, and they could break up shipping. Yeah. So if you have the same item, you can't ship you can't have 2 of the same item in one order and ship them to different customers. Home Depot's checking out doesn't allow that. Michael Augustine wants to know if my January sales are slow. Actually, no. My sales have been not as good as December, but better than November. So they've been really, really well. And I think that's because I don't really sell seasonal items. Welcome, Rachel. I'm glad that you caught this. Okay. Let's see. No, I don't have my own website to sell my dropshipping products. I just do it through eBay. What glasses am I wearing? They're Warby Parkers. I'm not sure which one. The Warby Parker Topper, it's called. That's a good question, I guess. Ardeel says, my Facebook's still not working on that link. Okay, I'll update the Facebook link for the dropshipping mastermind. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, Dustin, I let my customers make offers, best offers, and then I let them haggle with me and to try that. No, Ruben, I don't use ads for eBay. It's not something I've ever done. So a good repricer that I've used is, I've tried a few of them. My favorite one right now is DSM Tool. I think it works really well and it's just very user-friendly. Now, Gary, the 1.4 markup doesn't really work anymore. I know some people do it, but I think it's just way too high. It's much more competitive now. Troy wants to know how you get free shipping with Home Depot. So you can either sell items that are $45 or more on HomeDepot.com, or you sell a bunch of items and combine them into one order and then ship them to multiple addresses. Sorry, Abday, let's see what your question is. If there is on Amazon like 2 days shipping, shall I do 3 days because you don't know if there's going to be a delay in shipping? Oh, I see what you're talking about. You mean what you're going to make your setting on eBay. So yeah, I think 3 days is fine. If you're just starting out, go for 3 days. Make your shipping time 3 days. You can always lower it down to 2 if you're seeing that there's no problems. And even if you have 2 days and a couple of them are late, some customers will care, but not all of them will. So I think 3 days at the start, but you can always lower it later. Okay. So Mike wants to know if I see a trend with products being ranked after a certain amount of time being listed. No, I haven't really seen that experience. I almost see the opposite experience, that either I get sales right away or I don't get the sales at all for those products. But it really depends on the market, the time of year, if items are seasonal. So I think it really depends. Plus, we don't really know how their algorithm works on eBay. So that's kind of an unknown for us. Okay. So Steven says he's currently listing products for a very low margin and then increasing the margin. Yeah, I think that's a really good strategy when you're starting out because you're trying to get the sales. And the best way to get the sales is to lower the price of the items so that it gets more sales in. Just to build up your account, you can always raise the price later. Okay. I just started new eBay just for AliExpress. Jakob, I don't know anything about AliExpress. It's not something I do. Okay. Yeah, Robert, PayPal has put limits on my account. I got my account suspended in like October or November because my sales really took off, and I guess it looks suspicious to them. So I just had to call them up and they were able to lift that ban after I sent them a whole bunch of information. That's really the only limit they put on my account. Dustin's asking if I clean out of stock inventory from the holidays in January, or do I just leave them there? So I try to go in every few weeks and prune out items that are underperforming. So I think just naturally in that process, those seasonal items will become eliminated. I guess I should be better about going in and really getting rid of like Christmas trees and stuff like that really is obviously not going to sell in January. But you'd be surprised at the stuff that people buy off season. I don't know why people will buy Christmas trees in January, but some people do. Priscilla, I've never used Oberlo, I'm sorry. Al's asking if it's easy to move your products from SKU Grid over to DSM. So to DSM tool. So I used to use SKU Grid and HydroLister, and I started using DSM tool. I've been trying out both. I really like DSM tool a lot better. I'm going to be moving all my items over to that. So once I do that, I'm going to make a video about how I do it so that I can show you guys how it's done. Let's see. Bank transfers. How do I categorize bank transfers in GoDaddy bookkeeping? So for instance, if I did $1,000 in sales, profit was $120. How does a GoDaddy know what to do with that when you transfer the profit? So if I think I understand your question right, I think you mean like, actually I'm not sure I understand your question. What do you mean transfer the profit out of where? Like you write yourself a paycheck? Is that what you mean? Because GoDaddy, if you transfer between bank accounts, GoDaddy's going to recognize that. So it's not going to count the transfer out as like a payment, and it's not going to count the transfer in as a payment. It's going to recognize that it's just you transferring between accounts. So maybe that answers your question. Do I do anything to keep my old listings fresh? I also find new items sell well and then drop off after a few weeks or months. So if I notice that a listing hasn't been selling, I just delete it. And the reason for, if it hasn't sold at all, I'll say, if it has no sales history, I'll just delete it. But if it had some sales and then dropped off, then I'll try to figure out why. Maybe somebody copied my listing, in which case I'll go in, find who copied it, undercut them, and then undercut them on everything else that they copied me on. If I really can't find a reason that it isn't selling, then I'll try relisting it, or I'll just delete it. Sometimes it's very obvious, like it's just a seasonal item. Yeah, Steven. Steven's asking about dynamic pricing on HomeDepot.com. And this is really like an unfortunate reality of shopping with Home Depot. So what Home Depot has is something called dynamic pricing. And what that means is that the price changes depending on what zip code you're in for a lot of products. So Steven gives the example that he had a $129 product. He added it to the cart. When he went to check out and enter the buyer's zip code, it changed the price from $129 to $269. That's really a huge jump. So there used to be a way around this. You can't fix it anymore. Home Depot is just going to charge the higher price. And so if that happens, then I would seriously consider deleting that item from your store or raising the price of it. You might be able to find a representative who, after the fact, will adjust the price, but that's gotten really, really hard to do, and I don't know if that will be successful anymore. But if you chat with Home Depot, you might be able to say, look, the price is cheaper on this one, but when I checked out, it charged me a higher price. So Troy, I don't really look at my competition too much on my main account. I just list the product with the best title I can come up with at the best price I can list it for. And that seems to work the best for me. a lot of people are selling a lot of the same products. So I'm hoping that my titles differentiate me. And of course, I try to be competitive on the pricing as much as I can. Somebody was asking about Arbiship. I looked at it briefly. If I remember right, they didn't work with any of the sources I was using. But now that I'm starting to list some products from Amazon, I might look at them again. So if I do that, I will be making a video about it. Quentin, did you look at Arbiship? Like, have you been using it? Because it's one of the softwares I was looking at. Phil's asking, what's the easiest way to temporarily shut down your store for holidays, travel, etc.? I do know that eBay has a vacation mode, so you could do that, but I've never used it. I never closed down my store. The best way to go on vacation is to hire virtual assistants to run your store, so you could always go and travel and just check in maybe a couple of times a week. Okay, the Floyd's asking about tax exemptions. So I do have it's not technically called a tax exemption ID number for New York State. I just have a certificate of authority for New York State, which allows me to collect sales tax for the state of New York. And then from there, I can get a reseller's form that I can send to my supplier. So that's basically the way, in a nutshell, that's the way it works in New York. Jakob, I've had great success with the DSM tool. I haven't had them showing items out of stock when it's not. I was trying to list some items from Amazon and showing that it was out of stock, even though Amazon said it was in stock. But then when I clicked around on Amazon, I saw that it actually was out of stock. So maybe that's what the problem is, because sometimes Amazon won't say it's out of stock on the main page. And then when you go to another page, it says it's back ordered until like tomorrow. So that might be what the issue is, because DSM tool does see that. So Robert was asking what information PayPal wanted. So I'm talking about when my account was suspended. They wanted stuff like, I think they wanted like my social security card, my driver's license, a bill showing that I live at the address that's on file, and just stuff like that. Crypto Nick wants to know how I save money from my suppliers. So yeah, I go over some of this in my course, some ways to save money from your suppliers. It's all there. I don't have anything like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like sneaky that I'm doing. It's all like legitimate stuff, and it's all right there in the course. So Cindy says she hasn't started yet because she's not sure if she's allowed to use the picture of the item from the Home Depot. So in other words, you're listing your item, your source has a bunch of photos. Are you allowed to use those photos? And generally the answer is yes. A lot of those photos come from the manufacturer, and the manufacturer allows anyone to use those photos that's willing to sell their items. Now, there are some items that are Vero protected, some brands that are Vero protected, and you're not allowed to use their photos, and your listings could get taken down by eBay if you do that. No, Eleanor, I don't pay tax when I when I check out at Home Depot. I'm tax exempt over there. Thanks, Alan. Alan says that he's enjoying the course so far. Appreciate that. Okay. Okay, Happy Girl says she transfers money out of her bank account weekly or bi-weekly. And so GoDaddy, if you use GoDaddy, is going to recognize that's just you transferring your money into your own bank account, and they're not going to count that as you making a payment on anything or as some sort of income when they see it on your bank account. It knows that it's transferring between your two accounts. So Ben, great question, wants to know if I have any thoughts on auto ordering with Amazon versus using a VA to fulfill the orders. So I have tried using some sort of auto ordering. I think it works fine. Obviously, it doesn't work 100% of the time, but it works well enough. It'll save you a lot of time and a lot of money. I also have used a virtual assistant to do the ordering process using DSM tool because it's really, really fast with DSM tool. Either one works. It really is up to you. You got to kind of do the math and see which one's cheaper for you. Personally, I like having a virtual assistant do it, but that's just me. Tyler's asking if I actively manage my PayPal cases or if I let them run their course. Yeah, I always take a look at them. I always answer them. I don't let them just expire without any action. I don't get too many PayPal cases. They are really annoying. I rather just everything is through eBay, and obviously that's not something I let my virtual assistants do because, well, maybe there is a way I can limit their access so they can take care of the cases. But because there's so few, I just do the PayPal cases myself, and I don't let them just expire. I do take care of them. But I just find them to be a pain, though. It's so much easier on eBay. And for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, on PayPal, you can create a special login for your virtual assistants that limits their access. So I have a login for my virtual assistants. They can go in and refund my buyers if they need partial refunds, and that's all they're allowed to do. So they can't transfer money. They can't even see how much money I have. Yes, the Floyd, I do have an LLC. So Mo wants to know how I handle returns for GSP items from Home Depot. If it's in Canada, they can return it with no problem. If it's buyer's remorse, then obviously the buyer's responsible for shipping it back. Otherwise, it really depends on the situation. What I do might be a partial refund. It might be something that I have them contact eBay about. There's all different scenarios. What it's come down to is I've never had to pay for an item that's shipped through GSP. Somehow I've always gotten out of reimbursing my customer for the whole cost of the item. And there's some ways, tricks you can do to avoid having to pay the whole amount. But I've managed to avoid it using those. Steven, my course comes with a money-back guarantee. It's a 14-day money-back guarantee. That's only applies if you don't complete more than 30% of the course. But you can just go on my course's website without paying for it and look at the curriculum. Just look at all the names of the lessons. See if this is something that you're going to like, if this is something that's going to work for you. Check it out and then decide from there. There's also the first 2 modules are free, so you can get a sense of my teaching style and see if it's right for you. Yeah, Mike, I will be making a video how to switch from SKU Grid to DSM tool. I don't know when it's going to be out. It's something I've been putting off just because I've been kind of busy, but I will be making it. Okay. Okay, let's see. Questions are coming in fast. I'm trying to get to all of them. Yeah, of course I use cashback websites. My favorite is Giving Assistant. They just work really well. Crypto Nick's doing 5 figures a month in sales, so congratulations on that. That's awesome. But only making a few $100s compared to what you do with an average 25% markup. Yeah, Crypto Nick, I talk about how to make your items more competitive, how to price your items better to make them sell better. Sorry for that. Victoria, thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. Eric wants to know how many items I list a day. It really depends on how much time I have. I have no set goal every day. I just list as much as I can. Some days I just can't find items that I want to list. I'll list maybe 1 or 2. And some days I can list over 50. Never really more than 50 though. Naughty Yash wants to know how often I delete addresses from my address book on Home Depot. Naughty, I always check out as a guest on Home Depot. I just find that it prevents things from getting messed up when I check out. Okay. Shoot. So Steven, you have to, when you're upgrading to a store from a free plan, you have to really do the math on that. And I go over that in my course. The math's a little bit, not complicated, but it's just, I don't want to get into it here because it's a lot of math. You got to just figure out the break-even point for all of them. So Steven wants to know how many credit card points I earn per month. So I do all cash back. I wish I had in front of me how much I earned last month in cash back. It's a little hard to tell because on some sites you earn cash back at some point and then you get paid much later. But like credit cards, you'll get paid pretty much right away. So like on my PayPal credit cards and my other credit cards, I can get between $1,500 to $2,000 a month, I think. I don't want to give you a number because I'm not really sure what it is. Tyler wants to know if my VAs ever made any big mistakes. Yeah, I've had some make some mistakes. The biggest mistakes are usually with ordering. They'll order the wrong item or send it to the wrong place. I had one VA send this really, I think it was like a $300 item that was supposed to go to Florida. They sent it to a global shipping address. And I was so mad because what are you going to do? You can't even get that one back. So I think what I did for that was I somehow caught it and then just had the item rerouted back. That's when a Home Depot would still reroute it back. Another time I had a VA, the same VA, ship like a $200 item to a completely wrong customer. Luckily that customer was so awesome. He like called me up. He, for some reason, thought it was funny that he got this wrong item delivered to him. He thought it was the funniest thing, and he was so nice. He actually returned it back to Home Depot. He drove there, and he was totally cool about it. So I'm so happy that I have like such great customers. I did fire that VA. It was really like tough to do, but I was going into Q4, and she just kept making so many mistakes that I just couldn't use her anymore. Chris, I have 9 VAs right now. Yeah, Jakob says he likes the Google DSM extension. I really like that too. It works really well. Right now I'm still using SKUGrid and DSM Tool, but everything's going to be moved over to DSM Tool. I just haven't taken the time to figure out how to do that, but that's going to be hopefully really soon because I'm just sick of using SKUGrid and HydroLister. Lucky says he's liking the course so far. Thanks, Lucky. Still having trouble with getting views. Any ideas? So, Lucky, you might want to check out your margins. Check out the module about pricing your items. See if that's working. I also have a lesson that says what happens if you're not getting sales. To be honest, I don't really pay attention to views too much. I only pay attention to sales. So that's what I would focus on is what's getting in sales. Take a look at your keywords. Make sure that your keywords are fully optimized, that your titles are using the methods that I describe in the lesson about how to make your titles. And that's where I would start from there. Can I do a video of how to set up GoDaddy? I guess so. I don't know how. I guess I would have to start a new account for that. Maybe I'll do that video. It's really not hard to set up. It's very easy actually. It's very cheap. It's $10 a month, and I don't have an affiliate link to them. I just really think they're great. So it's just very easy to set up with them. Dante wants to know if there's a faster way to look up shipping addresses instead of clicking to print label. So the way I get all my addresses is through the eBay's file exchange. I just download at the end of the day all of my orders into an Excel document, and it has all the orders, the buyer's name, and address. But you can also do view sales record, or if you have something like DSM tool, it tells you right there. So Letitia wants to know what I look for in a virtual assistant when I'm hiring one. So it depends on what the role is going to be. Something like order processing is really not a big deal. Like, it's really easy to do. Like, everyone shops online, including people in other countries. It's not hard to do. So I just want to make sure that the person I'm talking to is like a real person, and that they are, not a complete, idiot, basically, and that they're, that they really want to see my store do well. And that's like hard to quantify, but I would say like 2/3 of my virtual assistants are exactly the type of virtual assistants I want. These are people that do their job. They just come in, they clock in, do their job, clock out, and they really want to see my store succeed, and they're willing to go above and beyond. A couple of them are just like average. They do their job, they get out, that's fine. But I'm really trying to create a team of virtual assistants that wants my store to succeed as well as I do, that really invested in it. And so that's what I'm looking for. It's really hard to, like I said, quantify that. But ideally, that's the ideal candidate. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know how to pronounce your username. Legis3 wants to know, I'm GoDaddy bookkeeping. How do I classify my credit card expenses, which was used to buy a gift card, and then the gift card I assume is being used to buy the goods? So I just classify that as cost of goods sold. Phil wants to know what my biggest dropshipping challenge is right now. I am always experimenting, trying new things. Like I said, I'm trying a bulk listing store. I'm trying a sniping store. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm also trying Bed Bath & Beyond. And Bed Bath & Beyond was going really great for a while, and then it tanked. Like, it's gone so bad. They canceled about a week's worth of orders, didn't tell me about it. So now I have all these canceled orders. I was using gift cards. They didn't automatically refund the gift cards. I have to call them for every single gift card and have them refund it. I have to find a way to ship these items out to the customers, even though they will cancel all my orders. So it's been like a complete nightmare. And I've been dealing with that all week, trying to fix that problem. So that's my biggest challenge. That's okay though, because like I said, this is me experimenting, trying new things, and this didn't work. So I'm gonna be doing another update either here or in my course about Bed Bath & Beyond and what works and what doesn't work, because I don't want anybody to get burned using them, because I've just had a really bad week with them. No, I'm showing everything in my course that I'm doing. I'm not keeping anything out. Okay. No, I just use guest checkouts on Home Depot. Nothing else. So the Floyd, my course is going to cover things like taxes. That lesson is not available yet. It's coming very soon. There is even a space for it that says coming soon. Things about taxes and tax exempt. I will be talking about software. The course is not going to cover virtual assistants, because that's like a whole separate course that's going to come in the future. Yeah, Gary, I was attracted to Bed Bath & Beyond because they do have 20% off coupons, but again, it's just gone completely downhill. It's very bad. So Dante, the reason Bed Bath & Beyond canceled the order was because I was using them as a dropshipping supplier. They don't like when you check out on their website, you can combine items into one order and ship them to multiple addresses. And that worked for a while, but then Bed Bath & Beyond didn't like that I was doing that. So they canceled all my orders and didn't tell me. Dante, I've literally tried everything to get around Bed Bath & Beyond. I've tried doing guest checkout every time, using gift cards so that my name wasn't anywhere on it, using like fake phone numbers, fake email addresses, using a VPN, a different VPN location every time I checked out, but it didn't work. They still somehow found out it was me and canceled all my orders. So there are some things you can buy on Bed Bath & Beyond. Like I think, and I tried this today, a couple of the items that were ordered were already qualified for free shipping just on their own. So I placed them one by one, no gift cards, no coupons, and I'm going to see if that works. And hopefully at least those orders go through. Yeah, Floyd, that's exactly what I've been doing. Floyd, I use CyberGhost. So Lorena says there's a Home Depot order that was canceled, and they were told that it's because the billing and shipping address were different. So for that, I suggest that you check out using PayPal or check out using a gift card. So Dante wants to know if they cancel because I'm ordering or because my VA was ordering. So at first, I was placing the orders, then the virtual assistant was placing the orders, no problem. Then all of a sudden, all the orders that my virtual assistant were placing were getting canceled. Then I placed the orders and they were canceled. Then I placed the orders using the VPN and they worked. Then my VA placed the orders using the VPN and they didn't, and they were canceled. Then I placed the orders using the VPN and they were canceled. So it's just been a mess. So Naughty, I just placed orders on Bed Bath & Beyond shipping to a single buyer. And I'm hoping that that at least goes through. Okay, I have some questions from the week that I want to answer. Okay. So Tim was asking if I have when I have multiple eBay accounts, do I use multiple PayPal accounts? No, I just use the one PayPal account for all of them. You don't have to go back to square one. I think you can have either 6 or 8 eBay accounts connected to PayPal at once. I will be making more videos, Tim, about my the new account that I set up, that I started making videos about. I'm going to be making an update video this week because I've been using, what's it called? Mark's software, DS Genie, with it. Okay. Okay, what do you think about keeping buyer's address on Walmart or Home Depot's address book? How long? I don't think it matters if you keep your buyer's address in the address book on Walmart or Home Depot. It's probably nice to clean it up every once in a while, but like I said, I do guest checkout on Home Depot. On Walmart, I just don't really worry about too many addresses in there. So what's my method when it comes to purging? So if something hasn't had, yeah, I was talking about DS Genie before. Did I say something different? I apologize. But yeah, I've been trying DS Genie. So what method I use when purging? So I look for items that haven't sold at all, ever, and it's been over 30 days, or items that have sold, but haven't sold in the last 60 days, if that makes sense. Jakob, no, every time I go into my VPN, it chooses a different location. Okay, Naughty, thanks. Naughty says that if you ship one item through Bed Bath & Beyond, it should go through. So hopefully that works. I just tried that today. No, if you set up eBay with the same PayPal account, you won't have PayPal jail in the new account. Stephen, I do more than 50K a month. I do about $150,000 a month in sales. Cindy, I think you could have up to 8 eBay accounts. For some reason, I can't remember. It's 6 or 8. So Israel's asking if I'm the same guy who has the course. Yes, that's me. I actually have an announcement about the course. So originally, the course was just launched 1 week ago. You could check out the description. It has a link to it. It's called eBay Dropshipping Titans.teachable.com. And originally, when I launched it, I had a launch price, a special price. And I was going to raise the price at midnight tonight, but I've decided not to do that. And that's because when I launched the course, I had the special discount for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to get some people into the course to get their feedback. And I have done that. Lots of people have signed up. I had really great feedback from lots of people. But the second reason I did it was because I wanted, because the course wasn't like 100% complete. It was like 95% complete. It has everything you need to get started. It basically has everything. But there are some like more advanced topics that I really want to put in there because I really want to see everyone who buys a course do really well. They're not like strictly necessary, but I think it could really help some people. So until I actually finish those lessons and get them uploaded, I don't want to raise the price until that time happens. So for now, the price is going to stay the same. But once those lessons are done, then I'll consider when the price should go up. So that's the update about that. Robert wants to know if I use a business credit card to process my orders or do I use my PayPal balance? So that really depends, Robert. So most of the time I try to use my PayPal credit card. My business credit card because I get like 2% or 1.5% back on those. Sometimes it's just easier to use my PayPal debit card because I don't have to worry about limits. And it does give me 1% back, which does add up. And they're really good about actually paying me every month. So that's what I try to use the most. I rarely use just my PayPal balance unless I'm having some sort of issue with my credit cards. Mo wants to know why I use guest checkout. I use guest checkout because I found that if I don't, then sometimes they'll accidentally ship all my items to my billing address. And for some reason that doesn't happen when I do guest checkout. So Adam wants to know how I track items that aren't covered by my tracking software. So I'm using DSM tool now. I still have SKU Grid set up, but everything's going to be transferred over to DSM tool. And I only use suppliers that DSM tool covers, which are like Home Depot, starting to use Amazon, done a little bit with Walmart. I was using Bed Bath & Beyond, which is one of the reasons I had kind of kept my SKU Grid account. But since I'm probably not going to use them anymore, I think it's time for me to get rid of SKU Grid entirely. Eric wants to know when my advanced lessons will come out. Eric, there's already a lot of advanced lessons in there. Like I said, these are just a couple of extra ones I really want to get in there. Hopefully, I'm definitely going to make at least one this weekend about tax exemptions. After that, even after I really finish the couple that I want to make, there's always going to be more rolling out. I'm going to be updating the course as I learn new things, as new things develop, stuff like that. Ardeo wants to know how he can contact me. You can send me an email. I'm not really sure just let me know what the problem is because I want to make sure you get the help you need. So you can email me at thehustlehusbands@gmail.com. Yeah, Robert, the PayPal card is capped at 30 transactions every day. So what I do is I use Home Depot gift cards to check out. I give those to my virtual assistants. So I refill those using my PayPal debit card. So that counts as one transaction every time I use it. So Letitia says she's trying to get VAs from Upwork, but can't figure out how. So Letitia, what exactly is the issue? Because I've actually found Upwork to be very user-friendly. Personally, I like onlinejobs.ph better, and there's a link to that in the description of my YouTube videos. I think it's just as good as Upwork. You find just as good talent, but it's much cheaper, and that's the reason I like them. Ardil says, yeah, Ardil, just email me. My email address is thehustlehusbands@gmail.com. I'd be really happy to help you. Yeah, if you sign up for a new eBay account, you do have to, each account has its own store subscription. So Zero wants to know if my store is automated to the point where I can consider it passive. So I log in for about like a half hour a day. I just answer any of the questions that my virtual assistants couldn't answer. Just check up on everything, make sure it's looking good. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I had one virtual assistant who was on vacation this weekend, so I was a little bit busier than normal, but you know, I like to give my virtual assistants a break if they want it. It wasn't really a big deal. With that said, I do like a lot of experimenting. I'm always trying to grow my store. So I do work more than I have to, but that's just because I want to see my store grow and experiment with it. So Letitia, my course is a one-time payment. Dante, I was actually saying that there's BBB cancels because of email addresses too. Okay, thanks for that. I'll look into that. Alan wants to know at what point I got my first virtual assistant. So Al, I got my first virtual assistant when I felt like the work I was doing, the time I was putting in was just wasting time. I wasn't able to concentrate on growing my store. So that's when I spent like 2 hours a day placing orders. And I was like, I could be listing now. I could be finding new suppliers. I could be working on my pricing strategies or my keyword strategies. And that's when I hired a virtual assistant to do it. I probably have more virtual assistants than most people, but that's because I work a full-time job and I do this on the side and I do YouTube and I made my course. So time is really limited and important to me. So I try to outsource as much as I can so that I can have time to concentrate on new things that I'm really excited about. Yeah, Quentin, I use TrackerBot. Okay. So Mo wants to know where I refill my gift cards, my Home Depot gift cards. So I literally just Google refill Home Depot gift card. It takes you to a website that's called CashStar. Home Depot, and then you just click refill a gift card, and that's how you do it. Robert, I don't use QuickBooks. I use GoDaddy Bookkeeping, and then my accountant has access to that. So Gur wants to know what I pay my virtual assistants. So I pay them all by the hour, although many on online jobs will accept like a monthly payment or like a weekly payment. So it varies. The lowest is $2 an hour and the highest is $4.50. There's one woman who's just like amazing. She does customer service and I'd be like lost without her. She's incredible. So she deserves the $4.50 an hour. I have several that I got from Upwork because I used to only use Upwork that I'm paying between like $3 and $3.50 an hour. And the work they do is like order processing. It's very simple. In hindsight, I really wish I had hired people from onlinejobs.ph right away because it would save me actually like a lot of money because it would be much cheaper to hire them for $2 an hour through there. But I'm not going to fire these people just because I can find cheaper work somewhere else. They're really, really great virtual assistants. They're very loyal. They work like every day. They want to work every day. So I'm really happy with them. And like I said, I'm trying to build like a great team, and they're part of that great team. So even though I could find people to do their work for cheaper, I'm going to keep them around because they're awesome. Okay. So Dante wants to know if I have like one manager VA. Like sort of. Pretty much most of my virtual assistants are like self-sustaining. They just, like the ones who process orders, they don't really need a manager. They just do their work. So that's like 4 of them. Then 2 of them, like 3 of them work, no, actually 4 of them work together to get all the customer service done. And one of them's like kind of in charge of the others. Although it's, yeah, I guess you could say she's in charge of the others. Gare, I try to keep my virtual assistants doing like one main task each, because I guess my fear is always that one's gonna like quit or something. And if they're doing too much, then I have to retrain someone to do all that stuff. So I try to like limit what they do, but some of them are just so great that I just keep giving them more work. So that only worked with me to a point. Like I have the 4 that do orders, and that's all they do. I have 4 that do customer service, and like 2 of them kind of do like niche things within the customer service, and 2 answer questions. But yeah, for the most part, I try to limit their tasks just to limit my liability if one does leave for some reason. So Gary wants to know what I use to track my gift card balances. So like I said, the only gift cards I use are Home Depot. I was using Bed Bath & Beyond, but I'm done with Bed Bath & Beyond. So I just use spreadsheets for those. And because Home Depot is just reloadable, I'm not buying discounted gift cards for Home Depot. I just reload the gift cards. I have 10 of them, and I just, every day I take the first 4 and reload them with the first 5 and reload them with $1,000. And the second day I do the next 5 and reload them with $1,000. I trust my virtual assistants to keep accurate timesheets. I know how long their tasks should take. And in the beginning, I was like more on top of them about keeping accurate hours. So they kind of think that I'm really watching them closely, but really I'm not. I trust them. If anything looks like strange, then I call them out on it, but I haven't had any issues. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, so my CPA has access to GoDaddy, which has all my information for taxes on it. Diego said he had bad experience with virtual assistants. Diego, what happened exactly, and where did you get your virtual assistants from? I'm kind of curious because obviously this is something a lot of people ask me questions about, so I want to hear your experience about that. Yeah, Robert, I use DSM tool for most of my items. Like I've said, I've used SKU Grid and HydroLister. I was keeping them because I had Bed Bath & Beyond, but now I'm getting rid of Bed Bath & Beyond, so I'm just going to be using DSM tool. How many questions do I get a day? About, let me think about that, 60 or 70. We answer all questions. Mo says CashStar canceled his reloads. Now, I've never had that problem. I have had problems where I try to load them up and it says you can't because you've already put $2,000 on it this day. But I haven't had them cancel it. If you find the issue, please let me know because that's something I'm curious about. No, I'm sorry. I know I'm not going to say your name right. I think it's Kölbach. Maybe looks like the German umlaut. So I always forget how to say that. Is asking about custom templates. So a lot of people try to sell custom templates on like forums, saying like, "Oh, these are going to help you stand out and help you sell more items." I'm going to call like BS on that. I don't think that's true. I've never used like a custom template. I just use a template that comes free with my lister, and that's worked fine for me. I don't think you need to spend a lot of money on some special template. Oh, Diego wants to know if I've ever had bad experiences with virtual assistants. So just one virtual assistant who wasn't placing orders very well, and I had to let her go. And that really, it's not easy to do. Lucky wants to know how you get fast and free shipping on eBay listings. It's something I've never tried because I looked into it once and I just know as a drop shipper, when I'm not using only Amazon, it's just not possible. I think you have to have 1 day handling time, if I remember correctly. And the only way you can really do that is if you only use Amazon Prime. What was my other question here? So Michael wants to know if retagging photos is worth it. So I do not retag photos. What he's talking about is that you can download the photo, rename the file using like keywords, and then upload it. I think that used to work on eBay, but I've never done it, and I don't think it makes a difference. I mean, I used to do it. I used to do it my first few months, but then it just takes too long, and I just find it's better to list more items. And I don't think you need 12 photos. I think you can just have even 1 or 2. I know they say like at least 3, but some of my items only have 1 and work fine. Yes, I still recommend TrackerBot. And the VPN I use is called CyberGhost 5. Somebody wants to know if my course is for international sellers. And look, I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's really not designed for international sellers. I'm not one myself. There's probably some content in there that's going to be helpful for international sellers, but I know that Becky from Broke to Boss Girl is making a course, and she lives in the UK, so she is an international seller. I would take her course, to be honest, if you're an international seller. I don't want you guys taking my course and not being able to apply everything in it. So that's what I recommend that you do. How long did it take me to get to this point? So Zero, it took me, took a lot of work, it took a lot of time. The first few months that I was doing it, I was following an outdated method, so I really wasn't getting a lot of sales. It wasn't until about 8 months in that I was like, okay, this is really working. And that's when I formed an LLC. And then around 9 months in, started to pick up a little more. And finally, like 10 months in is when I really started to see sales do well. And then obviously November and December were really, really well. Kurbach says, I made a worthy attempt at pronouncing German. Thank you. I actually took a German diction class once, but I forgot everything. Okay. Floyd wants to know if with CyberGhost you can choose your own location. I'm trying to remember, when I log in, there's like preset locations throughout the United States that you can choose from. And I don't know if you could pick your exact location. Alan says, what did you change? Okay, when my sales took up. So I just changed my strategy, especially with pricing and with the amount of items I was listing. Those were like the biggest changes. And I just got more familiar with what products sell well and what keywords really convert. Yeah, Patrick, I've compared DSM and SKUGrid. Have I done a video comparing the two side by side? I know I've definitely talked about it, but I don't know if I've done a video showing them side by side. Anyway, DSM I find much more user-friendly. So that's why I recommend that one. Letitia, I'll put a link to the course. It is eBay-dropshippingtitans.teachable.com. There's no www. I'm making a more user-friendly domain. It's just going to be eBay-dropshippingtitans.com, but it's taking like 24 to 48 hours to set up. So that's what I'm doing. But right now it's eBay-dropshippingtitans.teachable.com. Dante wants to know if this is easier than law school. I don't know. Law school is really tough. But so is this. In some ways, they're similar, because with law school, the hardest part was figuring out, like, in the first, what do they call it, the first year, what's going on and like how to succeed in law school. And then it's same thing with dropshipping. Like the first 10 months or so is really just you figuring out like how this works and like figuring out a system that really works. And once you figure those systems out, like you're good, you're golden. And that's what I did both in law school and here with dropshipping. Yeah, Dante, I have had trouble getting my money back on returns and tracking it with two sources. The first is Bed Bath & Beyond. Again, they cancel a lot of my orders and didn't refund back to the gift card. The second one was when I was using Lowe's over the summer, which is probably actually worse than Bed Bath & Beyond. They were a complete disaster. And you would return items and they wouldn't refund you. It was a mess. How much should you list per month? That really depends. You should really be constantly working on your store. I think somehow eBay knows when you're doing things with your store, changing titles, listing new items. So as long as you're consistent, I think that's what's important, more than just volume. Although volume is really important, it's more about consistency. That's what eBay wants to see. So Anton's only been dropshipping for a month, wants to know if his profit is good. Any profit after a month is good, because like I said, the first 10 months is all about, well, maybe 10 months too much. Maybe like 6 to 8 months is all about you figuring it out. And I know that's terrible to hear, because you want to start making money right now, and you will be making money if you keep at it. But really the first 6 months are really going to be tough. It's a steep learning curve. And we can teach you things, we can show you things, but somehow you just got to get it in your own head how it works. And you're going to figure it out. If you have the right guidance and you have the right resources available to learn, and you do trial and error yourself, you're going to figure it out. But you really just got to put in the time and the hard work. Stephen, I don't know when the VA course will be out. I'm not sure what the price will be. It's definitely going to be in the next few months, but I'll definitely let you guys know. Dante wants to know what's the best way to track returns. So basically, when a customer returns an item, you don't refund them until you get your refund back, and they're gonna remind you. So that's one way to do it. Okay, I'm gonna be wrapping up in a minute because it's been over an hour now, but I had such great questions this week, so I really appreciate everyone coming out with the questions. I could probably answer a couple more questions if you guys had them. So Robert wants to know if opening an eBay account as a business instead of personal will give you a much higher limit. I haven't found that to be true. I've tried both. Wait, let me think about this for a second. You know what? Actually, I think that is true. Now I'm thinking back, because 2 accounts I opened up as business accounts and they had high limits, and the third one was low limit. And now that I'm thinking about it, I did open up as a personal account and then make it a business account. So yeah, that might just be true. I can't say for sure, but in my experience, yeah, I think that's true. Yes, Stephen, I do use Fees to Lister. I did use Fees to Lister, and it works really well. Yeah, Lucky Lifestyle, the David Vu 40% method just doesn't work anymore. It's much too high. Okay, thanks everyone for coming out. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, the course I made, I'm still going to leave it at the launch price, at least for a little while. I think 1 week was not enough time really for this like launch phase. So if you want to check that out, the link is in the description of my YouTube video. It's ebaydropshippingtitans.teachable.com. But just check it out. There's 2 free modules. See if you like it. If you guys have any questions you want me to answer for free, just drop them in the comments of any of my videos. I will answer them next week, or actually, I'm sorry guys, that's the announcement I have. I'm not going to do my live Q&A next week. I know I've been very consistent doing them every week, but next Tuesday night, the platform that I use for my course is called Teachable, and they're actually headquartered here in New York City, and they're having an event next week that they invited me to about how to make like my course better. And I really want to go to it, like learn their platform better, learn how I can make the course better for you guys. Because like I said, even though the course is pretty much finished, I constantly want to be making it better for you guys. So I'm really hoping that this seminar I'm going to will help me with that. Ordinarily, I would reschedule to another day of the week, but I'm kind of booked up and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it another day next week. If I do, I'll make an announcement about it. But I think for now, I'm just going to say that I'm not going to do the Q&A next week, but I'll keep track of all the questions. So in 2 weeks, when I do the Q&A, I'll be able to answer all your questions. So I'm sorry, guys, I won't be here next week, but I really hope that it's for the best and that I learned something good to help make the course better. So thanks, everyone, for coming out. I really appreciate it. And if anyone, like I said, just drop a question in and I'll answer it during the next video. All right. Have a good night, everyone.